Can you hear me now? Let me know in chat if you can hear me. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Hey, Punkette. Hey, Caddy, Texas. I had accidentally hit the wrong button, so that's my bad. Um, so I want to give a couple updates tonight about some cases. I was able to talk. Hey, Amanda, I was able. So we're going to talk about Lucian a little bit and Yakima, which I don't know how to say that. And I've also had the privilege of speaking to some locals in the Aries Muse case. And I'm going to keep the individual's name confidential just because I told them they would, not because they asked I would, but because it's kind of a good thing. She also told me how to say uh, the name of the town, but I have to look it back up. Anyways, so I also want to show you guys something else I discovered about a case that I thought was interesting about a case of, yeah, I'll get there in a second. First, let's talk about Aries. So we know that Aries was the boy that was found between, well, he disappeared between 1:30 and 6:30 a.m. and he was found at 6 p.m. at night. So when I talked to the locals to kind of get an idea of what had gone on, she was one of them, but so she had a couple of good points. So one is that technically where Aries lived was actually not a full-on reservation, because Oklahoma is for, like, it says technically not a reservation in Oklahoma for any tribe. Oklahoma has passed a law to where all of eastern Oklahoma is sovereign Indian land, which basically means that if you are Indian and you own land or live somewhere, it's Indian land now. So she goes on to say, which means only tribal police can go there unless given local permission or permission by local law enforcement. I had no idea about that, which makes this even more. Hey, Bexy, I was just thinking of you, wondering how you were doing and how back to school was for you guys and everything, for especially, your family. So Punkette, if I read that correctly, what I'm reading then is that tribal police are involved in every crime within that eastern Oklahoma because it's all Indian land. This was phenomenal knowledge for me to learn from her, and I was super thankful that I was able to talk to her. Hey, Trisha. Trisha, when is the big day that you're leaving? Isn't it like, isn't it like today or tomorrow? Um, so Okay. So one thing that she was saying, and she's local, guys. When I say local, local. Oh, I'm so excited, Trish. Trisha, sorry. It is very difficult, she said, right now to get any information because it is the tribal officials. Now, she said what she wanted me to make sure that I emphasize is, with that being said, it doesn't mean that whatever land they lived on will be. This is what Punkette was saying last night. Okay, cool, Trish. That whatever land they live on will be Indian land forever, just as long as somebody with Indian heritage lives there. And I'm not sure if Punkette shared it last night, but this was shared in, I believe, Discord, that like once that heritage is gone, you're gone. It doesn't matter if you've lived there your whole life, you're gone. Um, so she did say the reasons it's suspicious to the community, and this is the community, not just her. For one thing, I want to say that I didn't uncover this, but I ended up seeing somebody uncover it, that Aries' dad is actually, I'd have to get the exact title, Chief Deputy Officer of the court or something within, yeah, if you get what I'm saying. He has some Let's see, I'm going to give you the exact title. He is the Akfuski, and I'm going to learn how to say that because she told me. I just got to go back. County deputy at the county courthouse, as well as detention corrections officer at OCCGA, and also was a former jailer dispatcher at Haskell County Sheriff's Office. So let's just be real. Well, you know where I'm going with that. So I will say, because you remember what Punkette said, in a lot of situations, they take care of their own. And here is why the community is finding this whole thing with Aries suspicious. So it says that one thing she did say too, before I go on, is that she has been told by multiple law enforcement. Yes, thank you, Amanda. Yep. Found us land, everything's passed on through the mail. Wow, Punkette. So she did tell me that multiple law enforcement has confirmed to her. Remember, she's local, guys, and everyone knows everyone. He was not found in water or a ditch. That allegedly he was found in the woods, and she gave me a picture. I'm going to pull it up, not of him, but where he was, about 0.67 miles away from his home. So now here's why she says it's suspicious to the community. He was first reported as being abducted, but there was no information of how he was abducted. That is bizarre. Later, then he was issued as missing, said Akfusiki County, which I'm going to learn it, guys. I just got to go practice. No details on where in the county he was missing from, which where he lived is directly on the Akfuski and Seminole County line. So majority of the people had no idea in the county where they were going to be looking for him. She goes on to say they didn't even issue the actual alert until 12 p.m. So we were told that he disappeared between 1:30 and 6:30 a.m. And so now an alert wasn't even issued until 12 p.m. First, they said he was abducted, and then they said he labeled him missing. And then they didn't issue anything. Officially, though, they didn't issue anything until 12 p.m. And it said people couldn't just join the search for him. They were told in the community to wait or hold off. That, to me, is a little bit bothersome because of some of the things we've learned through Punkette, and now we're hearing through her. Hey, Jeffrey's Corn. It rubs me the wrong way. He was found deceased at 6 p.m., but they couldn't retrieve his body immediately due to how his body was found. That's not good. That doesn't sound good to me, at least. I mean, I'm not going to speculate, but you can run with that. Number 6 reason was no update. And this just isn't her, too. This is multiple members of the community. Number 6, no update on the cause of death or foul play or accident, just that he was dead. So they've not told the community there anything that there was foul play, that he was abducted, that there wasn't foul play, just that he's dead. People close to the parents, which we heard a cousin, said that he was hit by a car on the highway and hidden in the ditch. To which she said, the community is saying, well, if someone did in fact hit, why is there no report of any kind? I gotta make sure. Why is there no report about if you have any information on the death of Aries Muse, please contact the local police. That's actually, wait a minute. That's actually a phenomenal point. you know when something hits me. They're completely right, because when somebody is hit in a hit and run, there's constantly reports and pleas of, if you know anybody who know of who drove away, yada yada yada, please contact local PD right away. Like, somebody hitting him and putting him in a ditch isn't really something that, I mean, it's awful, but it's not anything that you would need to cover up, if that makes sense, that you would need to hide, I guess. Um, this is bad, so I'm going to try to word this kindly, but local police have been talking about how he was found. I don't know the word. Found. I don't know how to put it tactfully without getting in trouble on here. Like, you guys can envision what I'm saying. He was found without. Yeah, yeah. Somebody say it in chat so you can help me out. Um, Found that way to some extent, and that the time of death doesn't add up with when he was reported missing. So part of that, I think what people are thinking is that if he was found in the shape that law enforcement has been telling locally within the community, it doesn't add up to the shape of where his body and condition his body was found in. Thank you, Punkette. Yes, yes, not whole. That's actually a really good way. Hey, Beatlemaniac, if that makes sense. Typically, if we're talking animals, yes, this is about Aries. So I don't know. So the community is very suspicious, and some of the things aren't adding up. And now that I actually heard her say that about the report, there not being a report that, that it was a hit and run, looking for whoever hit and then left him. That actually is probably one of the biggest things that makes me go, then that's probably not. So she did send me this picture that somebody had posted. I don't know if this is. Oh, wait, I gotta share. Um, all right, so she sent me this, and this is where let me make sure you got you guys full screen. So up there where it says house, that is where his home was, and it is alleged that he was found 0.6 miles from the house in this wooded area. I mean, we've heard several people. Yeah, I know, Punkette. We've heard several people. Most people have confirmed that he was not found in water. And my guess then is he was found in those woods somewhere right there. If he was found in those woods, I mean, unless you're going to tell me that, like some giant bear came and attacked him, and it's got to be foul play, right? Somebody give me a reason that he could be deceased in the woods. And let's talk this through. Somebody tell me a reason that he could be deceased with the reasons we now heard her, knowing that the father does have tribal law enforcement connections. What would be the reason he would ever be found in the woods without foul play involved? And I'm open to any suggestions, because I'm trying to think this through too. But her reasonings for saying that this is why the community is suspicious are all very good. And the reason, I mean, we aren't there. Okay. So we aren't there to know. Oh, she taught me. Okay. Oak Fuski and Okima. Got that. All right. Another question she put was, if Aries unlocked 3 locks on the door and left, did he shut the door behind him? Because the dog was still in the house, supposedly, and what 2-year-old would turn around and shut the door behind him? So that is, hey, Pamela, that alone is a good question. So he unlocks 3 doors and goes out. We've all said that Exactly, Punkette. We've all said that, look, that's a possibility. 2-year-olds are like little Houdinis, but did he shut the door? Like, did they not hear the door? Which is fine, but I just don't see a possible way that he was found in these woods without there being some sort of foul play. And so the family we know is saying that, or not family, there's been some cousins we've seen said he was hit and put in a ditch along this road, which she's got in blue. Again, so appreciative. She was willing to talk to me. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Because so let's say somebody hit him and wanted to get rid of him. They would leave him in a ditch, I think. I don't think they'd walk him all the way over to the woods. And that theory kind of is blown out of the water with me when she made the point about they're not looking for the person that allegedly hit him. Right, exactly, Amanda. Point 0.6 miles, again, it's just like the whole Lucian thing. 0.5 miles, 0.6 miles to a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Hey, Sally, no problem. Is not the same as it is to us. Sally, this is Aries. It's not the same as it is to us. Like, it's the same distance, obviously, but they have these little legs and it's dark out. So I'm not saying that the parents did it. We're talking about Aries for just now, Sally. I'm not saying that Aries' parents did it. I'm not, but I'm saying somebody did something, because if he was just found and somebody tragically hit him and left, they wouldn't be this silent. I don't think so. I mean, what are your thoughts? Would they be this silent? You're talking these little legs in the dark, in the dark. And some people, the argument is, well, kids aren't typically scared of the dark that young. Well, probably not, but oh, hey, Jameson, you're welcome. Like, there's too many questions. Someone did. Yeah, I think so. And it scares me, the amount of covering up. And like she was saying, they didn't know what county to look. They were told to hold off. The shape of the body that he was allegedly found doesn't. Yeah, I hope you feel better, Jameson. Doesn't match up with the time frame that people have given him, and it's wild, and it's very terrible. It's just a terrible situation. I mean, and they're right. Like, yeah, the secrets are a lot. The secrets are a lot in this. And I keep thinking of some of the things Punkette has told me. And then when she kind of filled me in about how it works in Eastern Oklahoma, with the tribal law enforcement being involved first in everything, because it's all considered, the Indian heritage land or something like that, then I was like, oh, wow, okay. We also may never know. Right. Punkette's been saying it's all who you know, and when she was telling me this, I was like, wow. Yes, Pamela, yes. I was like, that is nuts. She was like, if you have any questions. So yeah, it was pretty mind-blowing to me talking to her. And Punkette's right. We might never be able to know if it stays in the tribal if the tribal keeps investigating it and doesn't go out to local police, because she did say, and I just got to look up here, she said they truly have. So I've been told by many police officers he was found in a wooded area, not a ditch. And the fact that this case involves the tribe has made getting information a lot harder. And we just heard Punkette talk about that last night. And it's nothing against the tribe, right? It's the way it works in some tribes. It's the way it works there, it sounds like. And unfortunately, we may never get the answers that. Now, I'm just going to be real. This is far more foul play to me than some of the other cases being talked about right now. it's just crazy. But that's kind of where we're at with Aries, and I'm gonna keep talking about them, but and keep reaching out to this local and kind of finding out where the case is there and if they know any more and stuff. It's just nuts. But I want to update on Lucian, and I want to upload something here. There's some pictures. So we know that Harry Oakes, I believe it was, said that his dogs. We had a guy. Hold on one second. We had a guy who had gotten caught with 2,000. Let's read what Punkette says. We had a guy who had gotten caught with $2,000 of 100. Oh my gosh, Punkette, are you kidding me? Wow, wow, nuts. So we know that Harry Oakes said that his dogs picked up a scent for a missing child. Again, I'm not entirely sure how. I don't understand the whole dog thing very much of how they knew that it was a missing child. I don't really know, but let me pull up the pictures. So he kind of took some pictures that he posted that actually helped a little bit, helped me understand some things. So we've heard a lot, and this actually, they are searching for, there was a suspicious homeless man walked. So this was a couple days ago or yesterday. After helping look yesterday, these two areas were very suspicious. A homeless man walked and went into an abandoned house, and campers on Keys Road, very suspicious, was holding a weapon the whole time. Also, while on the trails last night and hearing kids' screams, the homeless camp. Wait. Also, while on the trails last night and hearing kid screams, the homeless camp where pin is dropped. That okay? I don't understand that. Just my opinion. Yes, I called into the sheriff's, but they weren't willing to search those areas. Okay, so she puts that there. The other thing, though, oh, what was I going to tell you? So I did, just really quick before I move on to the pictures, I did end up finding out a little bit of the backstory. Amanda, I know the more I read about it's so I will say that so we know that the family requested to have their own Facebook page. Okay, fine. I do know that the original Facebook page that was made is actually made by a person that usually is typically very good about moderating too many speculations. But whenever you have a Facebook group, it's a discussion group. We all know that. However, there became somehow some bad blood. The family was angry at her, and then she got frustrated because she was going to make the family admin, but they were like, no. And then so she was like, forget it, then speculate away in here, regardless. But so people have said on the family's Facebook page, and people have proved it, that like, has anybody looked into the dog search and all this kind of stuff? And their comments are getting deleted. And the dog search they're talking about is the one that Harry Oakes did, where he said it picked up on the scent of a missing child. And they keep deleting those comments. The other thing that is starting to be discussed locally, and I don't know, Amanda, if you've heard this or not, he for sure said there's a dead body in the water, but couldn't tell. Exactly, Amanda. And I'm not sure if you've heard this, all right. Yeah, Pamela, that's what's so weird is there has been talk with local, I've heard from some other locals that the video that they say they have, they don't have. So I guess allegedly people are saying that the cameras where he was supposedly seen walking away, the camera wouldn't have hit him or somehow, but that they feel that they might be saying they have footage to bring somebody else out. So either way, the locals, from what my understanding, are saying like, okay, we're now calling your BS. You don't have any video of him actually leaving the park unattended. And to be quite honest, many have called them out for it, law enforcement, and it's not been addressed of why they won't release it. So let's go to her pictures. Now, Harry Oakes did a little bit of a picture so we could better understand the path where the dogs hit on. If I could get back to my exactly. Okay, Amanda. Yeah, that's what I thought. So they said they for sure had video of him leaving, but it wasn't released yet. Again, why? We're not talking like Eliza Fletcher. Her video was obviously not released because it was a violent attack. This is allegedly just a little boy walking away by himself, which would give everybody else a really good understanding of what he's looking like when he's walking away, and they won't play it. And that doesn't make sense to people. And they're not saying why. All right, so let's go on. So this is the lake, allegedly right down here in this little thing where a missing child scent was picked up. He claims, according to Harry Oakes, that it was a scent of a missing child. I've seen two things. One where he says it was a deceased missing child. One where it's just a missing child. Again, I don't necessarily know how you decipher the two as a dog. That I mean, how you know what missing child you're that it was a child and not an adult. I don't know that. So I don't know what this was. He had this up there. So this looks like it's on the path of the lake. This is the dog at the area of where he picked up, like the final area of the scent. Very interesting. Now this is the path. So this is the path the dogs were on, which allegedly is where, they picked up their scent. It must go down this trail and then and Amanda can probably answer this better, but it must go down this trail and then jaunt downwards. I don't even know if that's a word or a right word, to where that image, to this spot, this location. Now, this I could see him getting down to here. Like if we looked at it from this aspect right here, I could say, okay, well, I could see how he could, walk down there nice and casual. But this is harder for me to believe that he veered off this path down into the water, unless he saw water and was like, I'm going down there. Yeah, yes, there's a pond, and then on the other side of the river, it's surrounded. Okay, Amanda, yeah. So, but we still have, well, for one, we can ask the question of where's the video? But there's also been, I do know that I've seen law enforcement or searchers asking for somebody to come forward with information regarding the man in the bathroom. And people are saying, well, it's way too far-fetched, or it would have to be the perfect storm for somebody to abduct him. Yes, but I think it would have in the hindsight or the other direction, I think it would have to be a perfect storm for him to walk away with no one seeing him. And so what I know about his brother is my understanding is that his brother and him were playing on the hill. His brother watched him walk away and realized he was getting too far, ran to tell his dad in the car who was changing the diaper, to which his dad finished the diaper and looked up and he was gone. And this all happened, it says, within a 15-minute span, because you remember they got there at 7:15. He was gone by 7:30 and police were called by 7:45. So I'm going to say he is like Dash on The Incredibles, because I mean, one confusion for me is the brother knew what direction he went then if he saw him getting too far away. Exactly, Amanda. If the brother was alarmed and ran down to tell his dad that he was gone. Yeah, the 6-year-old Pamela. Remember, because we were told Lucian doesn't play hide and go seek well because he doesn't know how to play. He doesn't understand the concept. So when his brother tells him to go hide, he won't leave his brother's side. Now, I did verify based on mom alone by something she has said that he does not wander off. He does not have a history of wandering off. Okay, so now we have the fact that he wandered off alone. Well, exactly, Beatlemaniac. So he wandered off alone, which was not his MO because he didn't have a history of wandering off. He wandered off alone away from his brother, which he didn't typically do because they played hide. He didn't even leave his brother's side for hide and go seek. On this hill, remember they were on that hill, not even on the playground. So his brother then sees he's way far away, too far, runs down, tells the dad who's changing the diaper, who then searches frantically for 15 minutes and he's not found. Maybe Sally. That that to me is as mind-blowing as him being taken because of the fact he went to get into that lake. We did it yesterday. It was a half a mile. He didn't make it a half a mile in 15 minutes without being seen. Well, well, I was trying to think. So I can do a mile in like, like, but he's 4. Yeah. I mean, he would have been having to haul. Wow, Sally. I did not even think of that. Well, and I'm going to say there's speculation across the internet. Well, I mean, so I do understand people's frustration. I know, Amanda. Trust me. I hated going there, but my brain did. I mean, I can see why locals are frustrated right now because they're busting their hump and they're saying, "Look, we're busting our hump for you and you're kind of acting pretty crappy and you know, we're asking you questions on your Facebook page to respect you and to join your family Facebook page and then you're kind of deleting our comments." Like, yeah, Sally, that's a good point because I'm thinking of running. He was walking. So I can see why locals are a little bit frustrated. Um, there was some people were saying why the GoFundMe was raised, like the amount was all of a sudden like kicked up, and people were paying are paying, and this is fine. I get it, right? Paying for them to stay at a hotel so they didn't have to drive back and forth from their home. They could stay right at the park, which I mean I would want to as well. But at the same time, the community is like, give me something here then. Like, help us out, give us some info and stuff like that. And so part of what I've heard and the speculation I've heard is, was he even on the park? Like, you're claiming you've got the video that you won't release. Is he even on the camera for real? Are you telling people that to back us off? Because the police are then trying to say, oh, no, 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 we're definitely not just giving up. We're still actively working the case. Well, no, you're not, because you literally just said that you were drawing back all your resources. Yeah, it went from like 2K all of a sudden and it bumped continually and went to like 10K. It's just it's just bizarre. And I can't, like we've talked about, we don't know how necessarily, hey, Hope Grace, how we would act. No worries at all. I'm glad you're here, in a situation like this. But I do feel when people are helping you and stuff, like, it looks weird to delete their posts when they're asking you if I don't, whether or not this dog guy. So wait, yes. So Harry Oakes, if you don't know who he is, he worked on Kyron Harmon's case, which is a huge case in, I believe, Portland, and is pretty fairly well known. And so if you have somebody like that is donating their time, as well as he said he donated $600 of his resources and stuff to go do this, no one's looking into it. They say they've done the underwater drones in that water and all that, so he's not in there. But a dog scent did pick up on something. The dogs did. And so people are saying, hey, what about that? And then their posts are being deleted. What do you think is going to happen? A diver is coming on. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, really, Amanda? That is excellent. See, this is the thing. This shouldn't have to happen. This shouldn't have to happen. It just really shouldn't. It makes me sad because it shouldn't take a kind citizen to come all the way out from Idaho to dive to search for this little boy. I'm so happy to hear that, though. And that's not against the community. That's just a direct, like, law enforcement needs to get back out there and check it again. Freaking check it again. Exactly, Amanda. Check it again. It's like you tell your kids with schoolwork, like, I think I did it okay. Check it again. It's so frustrating. He went missing, Hope Grace, in Yakima. So let me show you this, guys. I was I got a whole bunch of things we're going to talk about tonight. I was very, very disheartened when I saw this. It really, and Les, one of my friends and one of my mods, absolutely, Amanda, gave me a song too that I'm going to put up here for missing indigenous people. Hold on. Someone needs to verify if SARS dogs were used or if it could ever. Yeah, Sally, I'm going to reach out to Harry myself and personally see if he'll respond and ask him a couple questions. As a test, maybe someone should ask on Facebook again the question. Yeah, Beetle, they actually did. I'll send that in Discord. I got to find it. Yeah. So, but yeah, actually, that's a good idea, Beetle. All right, so let me show you this. I found this, and the reason I want to, why did I just do that? Then I'm going to make y'all think. Really, Amanda? So if it was any Joe Schmo out there with the dogs, I'd think, all right, are his dogs really? But the fact he's worked some large cases like Kyron Harmon, yes, thanks, Sally. Yes, if you can hit the like and subscribe, that does, give him some credibility in my mind. All right. So I will say that there are 49 active missing cases in the state of Washington. I just want to make sure this is sharing because I would be not feel good about myself if I didn't address all of these children. So there are more than a dozen teenagers missing from region in Washington. Yakima, Washington, there are currently 49 missing children, and some have been missing for decades across the state. The Washington Patrol said there are 17 children, including 4-year-old Lucian Munguia, who are missing from Yakima. So right there is the Yakima Nation tribal laws enforced. So Sydney, we're gonna go through this because they deserve us to see their faces and names. So Sydney Hartley is a 15-year-old girl who is white. She is 5'4" tall, 4 inches tall, 110 pounds, with hazel eyes and red auburn hair. She was last seen on April 9th, 2022. Talon, I think that says Goggles, Obendorf, is a 15-year-old boy who is Native American, about 5 feet 7 inches tall and 150 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair. He has been missing since August 25th, 2022. I feel like I might have read somewhere he was just found. The remaining 14 missing children and teenagers are all indigenous. 11 of the children have gone missing in 2022, authorities said. The youngest, aside from Munguia, is just 8 years old. The following is a list of their names, their current ages, and the date they went missing. I hope you all don't mind. I just really want to share their names. Zane Chapman Bratt is 14. He's been missing since July 23rd, 2022. Raymond Scott. Now remember, these are all indigenous people, kids. Raymond Scott is 13. He's been missing since June 1st, 2022. Raymond Watlamet, 18. He's been missing since June 9th, 2021. I think that says Yve Beza, 13, has been missing since March 25th, 2022. Eric Cloud Washington is 16. He's been missing since July 21st, 2022. Clayton Gibson Jr., 18. He's been missing since June 25th, 2021. Marina Headdress, 16. Been missing since May 4th, 2022. Ira, oh, wow. Kaklamat, 17, has been missing since May 5th, 2022. Alicia Montez, 16, has been missing since September 28th, 2021. Nellie Owens, 12, has been missing since March 15th, 2022. Alberta Stahi, 17, has been missing since May 11th, 2022. Casper Sutterlicht, 8, has been missing since May 6th, 2022. LaShonda Wasis, 17, has been missing since June 4th, 2022. And Leela Winter Simmons, 16, has been missing since May 10th, 2022. No pictures were attached to any of these names. If you have any information where these children and teenagers might be, please contact the Yakima Police Department. Y'all, if that doesn't make you want to cry. Wait, what happened to Punkette? Oh, Hope Grace, FYI, another. Are you kidding me, Amanda? That's what they always say, Amanda. That's what they always say. You know why they say that? So they can forget about them. It's what they always do. Yeah, Hope Grace, you can share a story and that's enough. I know I saw that shoe. Oh, yes, you did share that with me, Sally. And are these? Yeah, Amanda, I think so. I think so. Let me verify that, but I think so. Um, if this doesn't make you, how can an 8-year-old go? I mean, can any of these kids go missing and we don't know? But how can an 8-year-old, Punkette, if you have to step away, please step away. You know I love you and I know you support. I just want you to go rest. Right. Yes. I didn't know you were talking about the same one, Sally. Um, an 8-year-old missing. This is between 2021 and 2022. Like, come on right now. Are you kidding me? There is an extreme, what are they called? Like epidemics, pandemics, or whatever you call them, of these missing children. And it is very, very scary and very, very sad. And it makes me even more sad that these kids don't even get pictures. I'm going to find their pictures, but it just makes me really sad. No pictures were attached to any of these names. Yeah, well, Amanda just said this is a lot. She's local and hasn't heard anything. Messes with me because I don't. It's really bothersome. And so I'm just going to keep looking into these cases and just if I touch on one a day and say, hey, another thing that happened in Yakima today is they busted a big Yeah, so Amanda, I've been hearing that is really bad. They've had some significant cartel busts lately that are really bad. Absolutely, Sally, no coverage whatsoever. Beatlemaniac, I think so, because they said they were all I mean, I guess they didn't the 11 of them or 14 of them are from the indigenous community, so I assume that that meant that they lived on the reservation because that was like the headline and the picture showed the tribal nation, tribal law enforcement or whatever. It's just it's just really tragic. And so exactly, Amanda. That's what really like got me teary-eyed when I first read this is just to see that no pictures were attached to any of these names. Now, I don't just know if that's the media that this article didn't attach them, or do we just not have their pictures out there? Like it's would the if it was on the reservation, would the tribal law enforcement not give the pictures? I just don't understand. But if you're local and have not heard of this, that is crazy. That is just crazy. So how I'm going to follow up with this story is going to probably tweak some people's, but don't leave me. Hear me out, okay? 'Cause it's not going to be a very popular opinion. So I don't know, it might be. But so we've obviously, there's not a ton of people talking about Lucian, but there's more. And we've got these kids that are all missing that nobody's talking about, and kids all over missing that nobody's talking about. But I will say, when I was looking on Jen Coffin-Doffers, I think I got it, Twitter page, she had commented on, which I think I've told you guys about before, that I caught was on Kylie's memorial thing. It says, okay, sounds good, Beatlemaniac. Probably Punkette. So, um, I think several of us probably noticed that on her memorial card, they have her date of birth, but the date of death says August 2022 or whatever. And so that was the big thing of, well, why didn't they do that? And people said, well, it's because the autopsy results. Okay, Pamela, good night. So then she said, y'all need to look into the Brian Bone case. And I had never heard of that. And it got my brain to thinking. So then I went and looked up the Brian Bone case. And Brian Bone died in November of 2021. And I'll read about that. And there's a reason I'm sharing this. And it's just because I just need to say this. So Brian Bone was found dead in Lake Ivanhoe on November 26, 2021. The death of Brian Bone, 24, whose body was found in Lake Ivanhoe, has now been ruled accidental by the Orange County Medical Examiner. According to the medical examiner's report, Bone had a blood alcohol level of 0.201, which, holy cow, wow. At the time of his death, the report said that he drowned as a result of his level of intoxication, adding that there were no signs of trauma to the man's body. Bone was reported missing after he celebrated his birthday on November 24th. Bone's mother said she had been talking to him on the phone that day when he suddenly sounded unwell and could not tell her where he was. His mother told News 6 she told Bone to stay put while she tried to contact police to help find him, adding that his phone died a short time later, leaving his family unable to contact him. The man's body was found on November 26th by a paddle boater who spotted it floating underneath the Interstate 4 East Bridge. Let me show you something else. So then here is, so like I typically do. Whoa, what just happened there? I went to my Google Maps because I wanted to see how close that would be. He was last seen at a pub at 7:30 that night. And so I pulled this up to see the distance between the lake and the pub, and it turned out to be 1.25 miles. So he left a pub on 50 East Central Boulevard and ended up being found in Lake Ivanhoe under the bridge, and it was ruled as accidental. And he was 24 years old, and it was ruled accidental based on his level of intoxication. What is my point? So when I went to look up Brian, because I wanted to see the story and I wanted to get a better idea of it, I went to look on Facebook, because they usually have groups, or I went to look on YouTube and they usually have groups. I'll tell you, I could not find barely anything. And this just happened in November of 2021. And I understand he's 24 years old, but here's where I'm going with this. We have Kylie Rodney, who's 16. Okay, she's at a party with her friends. We hear, right? We're told she's massively drunk and she gets in her car, adventures with a purpose finder. She's deceased. The internet is up in arms. YouTube is up in arms because it had to have been foul play. It had to have been foul play. Okay, so Brian Bone, 24, goes out for his birthday, drinks, which we know is far too much, and it's found under a bridge. It's accidental. We have no uproar at all. I know Kylie's cause of death has not come back yet, and we haven't heard about it yet. We haven't heard her intoxication. But my point is that I had a little argument on Twitter. Not an argument. I did say my piece because people are like, Kylie has touched the world. Kylie has touched the world with her, just like Gabby did. I'm sure she did. But where's the outrage for Brian? Because I got to tell you, being found under a bridge dead after being downtown at a club and having talked to your mother, clearly kind of messed up, most likely from alcohol, but then being found underneath a bridge in a lake is very suspect of foul play. And there's no uproar. So you can't tell me for 1 minute that some of what's going on right now isn't because Kylie is a white girl with blue eyes that was at a party and it's a really good conspiracy story. I know that's gonna make some really, I'm gonna get some nasty comments, but I'm saying, like, it has to be said because that boy's death I'd not even heard of. And what about his friends? Who on YouTube is going to question his friends? Who's going to drag them through the mud? I mean, they last saw him, right? According to media and law enforcement, his friends are the last people to see him at 7:30. I'm just saying, it's quiet in chat because you're all like ready to yell at me. I'm just saying it's food for thought. And the reason it is bothering me so much is because it bothers me when I see that there's 17 people missing and they're all children and 14 of them don't even have pictures up. And I'm not saying Kylie's life was not worth covering. It absolutely, positively is. But don't for 1 minute tell me it was because she just managed to touch the world a little bit more than Brian Bone touched the world. Get out of here with that. Not you guys, don't get out of here, but no, stop. No, it's because Kylie makes a really good story that Brian Bone might not make. And that is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. I know your feelings, Punkette. And I'm not coming down on creators. I'm just saying that please just be honest about it. Be honest about why you're covering the case. Quit it. Quit it. Quit saying that. Quit saying that. Because it's not about her anymore. And several people agreed with me. And most people are polite. Like, Brian Bone? Thanks, Amanda. Thank you, Red Rock. Sorry. I'm not trying to go off. It just when I saw those amount of missing children and I got teary-eyed and I thought they don't even get a freaking picture. And then I saw Jennifer say, "Look, people need to look up Brian Bone." And I thought, how in the heck his parents are living every single day with that explanation? He left a bar at 7:30. His blood alcohol content was through the roof. No one's dragging his friends. I mean, we got people reaching out to creators saying that Kylie was sleeping or Kate was sleeping with Jagger and people are calling out BS at least with that one. But I'm just saying, like, just be honest about why you're doing it. That's all I gotta say. Is just if you feel a connection with Kylie, then just say that. Like, I'm passionate. I feel a connection, but about Kylie, please stop with the she's touched the world. Please stop. I don't stop. If that's how you feel, great. But I feel like every one of these kids has touched the world. We all have different cases we're passionate about, and I understand that. But it's very important to keep a perspective of why they're important to you. Because I have 13 people watching, and I need to give my best to these cases for 13 people that I could talk about Kylie right now and I could have 600 people in here. I could dissect everything. But it's not going to change a single thing at this point. It's not going to, because they are most likely going to come back, y'all, and say it was an accident. They would need so much proof right now to say it wasn't. And I don't see that happening. And so we're going to dissect this case until we can't talk anymore. And meanwhile, there are kids disappearing by the second in our country. I would love for her to get attention. I just wish people would just not use the phrase she's touched the world, because I just don't like that, because no one is more important than the other. Brian Bones, an African American 24-year-old boy who disappeared on his birthday after his party and is found in a lake under a bridge, is just as important as a blonde haired, blue eyed 16-year-old girl that goes missing in a wealthy area of Tahoe. And that is me getting off my soapbox now. I think she was a beautiful girl, but I just got really tired of seeing the Twitter post that said, I think we're all just pouring into this Kylie case because she's touched our world. She's touched our world. No, and that's what I was like, stop that. Like Gabby did. No, Gabby is one of millions of women who were in a seriously domestic violent relationships who was tragically out of this world. And it's awful. And what happened to Kylie, whether an accident or foul play, is awful. But Gabby was one of millions of women, except the problem is, maybe not millions, maybe I made it, but the problem is those women don't have families. Some of them don't have families like Kylie had in the background saying, hey, here's her name. I'm going to fight for Kylie. I'm going to create a nonprofit. A lot of these women, men, kids that are in these situations, they don't have people fighting for them. These 17 kids, 14 of them indigenous, obviously don't have people fighting for them because we don't hear about them. So I think so too, Sandy, but stop picking out The pretty people. I'm sorry. That's so. Please stop. Please stop picking out just the pretty people. I know, Sandy. That's the thing, guys. Her parents owe us nothing. As much as we want to know, they owe us nothing. We might not never know. And the more we tick them off, the more likely they are to just say, I'm not giving them anything. You know, and when I saw that on Twitter and I looked up that case and I was like, wait a minute, no, it's closed, guys. Brian's case is closed. It's closed in accident. And do you see this though? I gotta show you. Do you see this on the screen? Do you understand? He had to go across to get from this bar where he was in his vehicle over here. He had to go through all these blocks and these roads and all of that to end up in a lake over here. I mean, that's alarming. That's pretty difficult. And absolutely, I'm not saying don't ever talk about Kylie. I'm just saying, please just do it for the right reasons and at least just say, please don't give her more priority than the other cases. Just say, I have a connection or something, but please just be careful. I think for sake of the people who already don't feel worth, I don't know. I think of like, I'm just on my talking thing tonight. I think of the victim of Cleotha, Pookie, and how law enforcement didn't investigate. And 49 weeks later, Eliza Fletcher goes missing, and they have, DNA back for her within 48 hours, like, God, a day, 19 hours, I think it was. And I keep thinking, like, how crappy must she have felt just to feel like I don't even matter that much. I only matter enough that my DNA comes back in 49 weeks. But that girl right there, that lady, she matters enough for that DNA to come back in 19 hours. And so I guess my point is just we just have to be careful, I think, in our country of making sure that everyone is treated like they're important. And I guess it's just naive of me because it's never going to happen. But I wonder if people started getting on these careers like, yeah, exactly, Sally. You know, I just think that both Gabby and Kylie were extremely tragic, horrible cases. But I just think for a year later to say Gabby's case was what changed domestic violence is is wrong. Now, I know she does. Loca My Life is incredible with the missing cases, incredible with it. And Sleuth Mom, that whole bunch of them really, really focus a lot on um, those type of cases. And you're never going to get the views and the likes and the money that you're going to get with the Kylie Rodneys or the Gabby Petitos and all that stuff. But you just got to evaluate why you're doing it. And I mean, if you're coming on YouTube to make a lot of money, then, cover the cases that make a lot of money and, you know, do it. That's fine. I grew up in some ways, in some areas of my life, feeling not important. And so I tend to get really like, I don't know, I just want to make sure. I don't know. What if you're the only person to make somebody feel important? I don't know. That's just my thoughts, guys. Sorry, I don't know why I got way off topic. I just couldn't believe that I had never, I personally had never heard of Brian Bones' story. And all I could think of how heartbreaking it what must be for his mother to think, wait a minute, almost the same thing happened to my son and no one cared. I would be devastated as a mother. I would be like, why wasn't my son worth that attention? I sound like an after school special. Remember those like on PBS? But please know I am not talking to any one creator in particular. I think anyone can talk about what they want to talk about. I'm more talking about some of the things I've seen on Twitter and that kind of stuff, of just being more aware when we write things on Twitter of other families that are struggling having to see things like that. And you know what? Gabby Petito's family would be the first to tell you that all cases, in fact, I've seen them say it several times. They will often share the foundation that they have. They will often share cases that don't get much attention because they say everyone matters. Like, don't let Gabby be your poster child for domestic violence. They all matter. So, I mean, I really respect her family for that. Now, don't everybody go hating me either, because I do sympathize with the Kylie case and everything like that. I just meant like what some of the things I've seen on Twitter. And just to give Brian, you know what, give Brian a little bit of a spotlight here. Yeah, Sandy, and I do too. I'll tune in, every now and again. Nothing has changed my mind. No, I still believe what I believe. Um, I don't think it's ever going to change what police are going to say. I don't. I think they're going to say it's an accident, but maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe somebody will come forward and they'll have some big evidence and it'll blow the case open, but I just don't see that. I just don't see it. And unfortunately, the hard part is, we know Ryan Upchurch has given a lot of money lately into the community, into channels that he might consider ones he likes. And I'm telling you, when money gets involved, things just get crazy. But yeah, anyways. All right, y'all. So I hope you're all not mad at me and you understood what I'm saying. It wasn't anything directed at creators. It's more directed towards things I've seen written on Twitter that has tweaked me as far as saying she's changed the world. I mean, every missing child to me changes the world because they shouldn't be missing. It's just my point. And yes, definitely check out Punkette's got a live coming up on the 19th. I will be there, as well as I hope everybody else will be there. And please, like, if you have any, cases that are like you're not getting attention, please share this one. Email it to me. I'm going to do a lot better job at making community posts with cases that, people want seen that we might not get a chance to talk about right away. Yeah, Punkette for sure. For sure. And like I said, yeah, and there's no one creator I'm coming down on. I understand being passionate and wanting to talk about a case. I have more of a problem when people say, she changed the world. Because I don't know. But anyways, it is going to be fun, Punkette. Now go get some sleep, y'all. Hope, Grace, yeah, hey. Yeah, and Beatlemaniac's about the most level-headed, sees all sides type of person I've met. Thank you, Boyd Mama. And she's very good about just separating that all and stuff. And so she helps me immensely. All of y'all help me a lot. You just allow me to talk things through. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. And definitely look at that Brian case if you get a chance. And I'll keep you updated. If anybody sees any updates on Lucian or Aries, please let me know. And maybe we'll start digging into some of those cases in Yakima. But talk to you guys soon. Thank you.